Hey everyone, I am super excited to announce that my new book will be available on September 27th. The Lead Through Method, the proven steps to getting unstuck, leading your life, and getting results. So, mark your calendar, September 27th. Stay tuned for more. Hi, this is Jose, and this is the Jose Vargas Show. This podcast is for leaders who want to be equipped and empowered to become leaders worth following, both in their organization and in their homes. My mission is to help you create breakthroughs in your personal and professional life so that you can grow and live your life with excellence. Welcome back to the show, everyone. This is your host, Jose Vargas. I'm super excited to be with you today. Can you believe that it's literally the end of the summer? Now, by the time you're listening to this, it's the end of August and or early September. This month is coming into this month. September is a huge month. It's a huge month for many reasons. It's a huge month for you because perhaps you're starting something new this month. Maybe your kids are going back to school. Maybe you're starting school again. Or maybe you're starting just a new personal development track. Maybe you're getting serious about learning again and finishing the quarter and finishing the final lap of this year strong. So, which I encourage you to do. So I'm excited about this particular episode because today I want to share with you a little bit about over the last month or so what's been happening in my life, and I want to share with you a message, a very special message that I shared a couple weeks ago at a couple different places. So with that, let me just pause and say why, another reason why this month is a very special month. Now, if you've been following me for some time on this show or on social media, you know that this month, September 27th, it is the launch worldwide of the Lead Through Method, the book. Okay, the hardcover book, the Lead Through Method. It's going to be available on Amazon.com. You can buy it anywhere online, Amazon.com. And I just want to say this, it is literally the proven steps to getting unstuck, leading your life, and getting results. There's been a lot of buzz. A lot of people have pre-ordered the book as well when I do live speaking events. And I've had the opportunity to actually do some speaking this past month. And it was, I tell you, I love it. I love getting on a stage, and I love empowering, equipping, and encouraging people. And so what I want to do in this particular episode, I want to share with you what I shared, in some ways, what I shared with the last couple of weeks. I went to both my my birthplace for sure, Chicago, and then I went to New Jersey, where I was raised. So in Chicago, I had an opportunity to see a friend of mine who I haven't seen, him and his wife, for the 5 years or so, I believe. Had an opportunity to spend some time with him and his family, and I also had an opportunity to see some other friends who I haven't seen over there, and man, it was so good to be with them. It was so refreshing, so encouraging, and so needed. You know, you have to figure out certain things in your life that gives you joy, that fills your cup, and it was so good to see them. So I encourage you to figure out what brings you joy, what fills your cup, and go do some more of that. And so I had an opportunity not only to spend time with some friends in Illinois, but I also had an opportunity to speak, which is something that I love to do. And particularly, not only do I speak, for many of you, not only do I speak in just about leadership, but I can preach, right? I'm a person of faith, and I love discovering and uncovering God's word, which is the Bible, to that group of audience. So what I want to share with you is the concepts in this episode on what I shared not only in Illinois, but also what I shared in New Jersey. I spoke in Illinois at a university as well with my brother. He's not really my brother, but we've been friends for the last 19 years, and it felt like we've never stopped communicating together, and it was like old times when we were doing tag team talks, and we were just talking to a group of about, I would say, about 100 football players at a university there, and it was such a powerful time together. And then we went to New Jersey the following weekend, and in New Jersey, I got an opportunity to preach actually at a church with 2 campuses over there, and I talked about this subject. I talked about dark moments, and that's exactly what I want to speak on in this particular episode. I want to give you obviously some of the principles that I shared. If you want to listen to the faith component to this talk, I'm going to put the video link in the show notes or in the description below, where you can actually listen to that message from a biblical perspective, okay? But before I share the principles of this talk with you, which I hope it's going to encourage you and help you if you're going through a dark moment in your life, whether that's in your career, in your finances, in your personal or professional life, whatever it is, this is an encouraging message for you. Okay, and I'm going to share with you a personal story of mine, and then I'm going to give you some principles. Okay, I'm going to give you some principles. I'm going to give you the 2 primary reasons why we often are thrust into dark moments. Okay, the 2 primary reasons that I believe that we're thrust into dark moments in our lives. Then I'm going to give you a couple things that happen while we're in our dark moments, and then I'm going to give you just some applicable things that you can do while you're in your dark moment. I'm going to try to do my best to share that with you all in this episode of this podcast. But before then, guys, I'm excited because, again, September 27th, the release of my 5th book, The Lead Through Method, The Proven Steps to Getting Unstuck, Leading Your Life, and Getting Results. I want you to do me a favor, and I want you to go order it. If it's September 27, or if it's not, I want you to put it on your calendar, and I want you to pick it up that day, that week. And here's why that's important. It's important if you're thinking about picking it up, to pick it up that day or that week, or the week, that's that week of the release. The reason why is because the algorithms in Amazon, when a book launches, Amazon will rate the book, basically, will either move it up so more people can see it, or they will bury it so less people can see it, depending on how the book is performing. So if there's a lot of interest for the book, then Amazon is going to push it up, and more people are going to be able to see it, more people are going to be exposed to it, and more people are going to be able to hear the message and be impacted by the message. That's the reason I wrote the book. So I hope that you would pick it up. If you're thinking about picking it up, that you would pick it up that day, that you would tag me on social media and let me know that you picked it up. And I wanna, if possible, I wanna send you something special. So make sure you do that. So let's dive into this subject here, right? Dark moments. So now, when I was about 23 years old, I bought my first house. Now, I was young, didn't really know what I was doing. I was inexperienced, but that was a proud moment for me because I was literally the first person in my family to purchase a home. I was 23, bought my first home, and bought it in the city in which I worked at the time. Now, after a few months of being somewhat homeless now, okay? I wasn't homeless, but I didn't have a place of my own. So I had some good friends who I'm still friends to this day. I love them. Been friends for a long time. They actually saw me growing up, and they allowed me to stay in their attic for a few months, and then until I finally bought this house. Now, after I bought this house, the city in which I worked in started to hand out pink slips, 45-day notice pink slips. They started telling people, hey, we're going to start laying people off, 45-day notice, here's your pink slip. Now, I didn't get a notice, so I kept about my business. I was like, well, I guess this is not going to happen for me. Now, there's more to the story, but this is just the in a nutshell what happened. And so the 45th day came, and as I finished my midnight shift, I was heading home when my cell phone rings. And it was a friend of mine who worked at the director's office, and he said, Vargas, you need to turn around, bring your gear. Unfortunately, you've been affected by this layoff. And so, as you can imagine, I had a bad, just horrible feeling in my gut, and it was just a very sad moment because now I lost my income, right? No warning, no pink slip, no 45-day notice to prepare. I got laid off. And so it was literally no fault of my own, but the city decided to lay people off. So that began perhaps a moment in my life where I went through a dark moment because I didn't know how I was gonna pay my bills, how I was gonna do this, but I knew that I had to continue to move forward. Now, dark moments in our lives, in your life, are those moments where it's hard to see what's next, right? It's hard to wake up in the morning. It's hard to get excited about anything because you really don't feel like you have anything exciting to get about, to get excited about. Dark moments are often those lonely moments, confusing moments, and if I'm honest, they're often scary moments. When you're going through it, it's often scary moments. And so I believe, though, that dark moments have two primary causes in our own lives. Now, my daughter, Evie, my oldest daughter, she's 4 years old and she's a bright young little girl. And I'm teaching her that for every decision, there will be consequences. We know this, right? A positive outcome or a negative outcome. Even if you say you're sorry and apologize, there's still a reaction to your action. Now, with that same framework, I believe that one of the reasons that we are thrust into dark moments as adults is because of decisions that we make. Now, this is maybe something that you don't want to hear, but I want you to not tune me out. I want you to listen to me for a moment. Because when we take responsibility for the things that we do, the decisions that we make, that is the first thing that we must do, the first action step that we must do in order to turn things around in our lives, right? One of the things that I talk about in the Lead Through method is recognizing and articulating where you currently are. In other words, you need to take an assessment of what decisions have you made in your own life that has caused you to be where you are, right? And I'll talk about it in the book, but for this particular episode, so one reason that we're thrust into dark moments in our lives is because of the decisions we make, right? One example I gave in Illinois and in New Jersey is if I'm driving down the highway and someone cuts me off and I let the anger or whatever get the best of me and I start cutting them off and I get in an accident, now that begins and I crash my vehicle and that begins a dark moment, right? Self-imposed. Now, oftentimes, if I neglect my relationship, right, days, weeks, months, years on end, and then your spouse come to you and says, I want a divorce, or listen, I think this is not working out, it's causing a dark moment. Or maybe you've neglected your health. You know that you should have been taking care of yourself. You should have been eating healthy and exercising regularly and doing what you needed to do. You even had a gym membership, yet you neglected to go because of excuses, really. And now you find yourself in a predicament where you're in a dark moment as far as your health. Or maybe you spend more than what comes in, trying to impress people on social media, trying to live up to the Jonases, and not really living below your means because you think you have something to prove. And now, financially, you are in a dark moment. See, these self-destructive decisions can drive us right into dark moments, and we must realize that if a decision is causing this dark, painful moment in my life and in the life of my family, then a decision or a series of decisions can perhaps bring me out of them, right? So that's one reason why we're often thrust into dark moments. Now, the second reason why we often find ourselves in dark moments is literally no fault of our own. Life just happens. You have been pushed into this place. And the reality is, wherever you are and wherever you're listening from, life will just happen. Perhaps like me, you've been laid off like I was years ago with no warning, or you were fired, no fault of your own. Maybe your company downsized. Maybe they decided to move across the country, or you've received negative news from your doctor, even though you did exercise and you did eat healthy and you did watch what you did on a daily basis, and the doctor still called, and now you're still in a dark moment. Or your spouse decided to leave you even though you were faithful and you were loving and kind and generous and you did what you needed to do, and they still decided to leave you. Or maybe your friend decided to betray you even though you were a good friend. You were faithful, a faithful friend. No fault of your own. But now you're in a dark moment. So I want you to notice that one cause is self-imposed and one, it just happens. Life happens to us all. But what I want you to get from this particular episode is that the dark place that you might find yourself in today is not a permanent place. It is a molding place, and that it is temporary. And so that's good news, because that means that you can do two things. You can choose to get bitter in your dark moment, or you can choose to grow better through your dark moment. And I know that it sounds like a cliche, but the reality is that dark moments in our lives causes, and I believe they're meant for certain things. We don't like them. I don't like them. I don't want them. But the reality is that we all will go through them at one point or another in our lives, in one way or another in our lives. And so when we do, then we need to have the right perspective that maybe this is working for me instead of against me, that I'm going to get better instead of getting bitter. And so I believe there's 5 things that dark moments cause, or things that happen in dark moments for us. The first thing is that a dark moment is a place of protection. Now listen to me. Sometimes we are restricted because I believe in God, and so I believe that sometimes God wants to protect us from things that we don't even know anything about. Okay? Now, I want to use an example here of a U.S. president, President John F. Kennedy. Now, President John F. Kennedy was, as you may know, he was assassinated by, by a sniper, right? And so when John F. Kennedy, when he was heading to Dallas on that November day, against the Secret Service, he objected to the Secret Service as a recommendation and saying, hey, sir, let's put, the top on the limo. We need to protect you. We need to keep you safe. As a matter of fact, they wanted to put the top on the limo, but yet he refused. He wanted the convertible. He wanted the people to see their president. And then after he fought that, then they said, okay, well, surround the limo. He said, no, I want the people to see their president. In other words, I think he viewed restrictions as limitations. He viewed restrictions as something that was taken from him, when in reality, oftentimes in our lives, restrictions are meant to protect us. The reason that the opportunity didn't open for you, maybe the job wasn't open for you, maybe the application was denied, maybe the house didn't go through, maybe someone outbidded you, or maybe you didn't get what you wanted to get, maybe the girl that you wanted to marry didn't want to marry you, or whatever the case may be for you. Sometimes we do not understand when we're going through it. But the reality is that oftentimes there are these restrictions, and often we find ourselves in these dark places, but the reality is that sometimes these dark places are a place of protection. And so restrictions are not meant to take from us, but restrictions are meant to protect us, okay? The second reason why we often find ourselves, or the second thing that happens in dark places, is that dark places could be a place of preparation. Yeah, it could be a place of preparation. Oftentimes, it is in dark places that you can develop your skills, your talents, your abilities. If you would have got the job, maybe you would have never been where you are today. If this door would not have closed. Maybe you would not have met the love of your life. Whatever it is, I want you to look at it from a point of, you know what? Whatever is happening in my life today is preparing me for what I need to do tomorrow. It's preparing me for the man that I need to be. It is sharpening me. It is making me stronger. It is giving me tenacity. It is giving me courage. It is giving me persistence. It is developing my integrity muscle. It is developing my character. So whatever adversity, whatever challenge, whatever it is that you're going through, it's preparing you for the people that you're supposed to touch, the people that you're supposed to reach, the people that you're supposed to serve. And it's making you a better leader. All right. Now you will understand how to treat people. You know, I'll never forget when I remember during this process of being laid off, I hustled, y'all. I did everything and anything to bring money in. I started cleaning. I started helping people move. I started I did everything. I mowed lawns. And guess what? All those things were preparing me. It gave me a perspective on life. It was preparing me on how to treat people. It prepared me that I remember, I will never forget that one time I was speaking to a group of about 200 to 300 students. And I spoke to these students at this private school for a whole week. And I was speaking to them for a whole week, Monday through Friday. Every single day, I did a talk for them. And I remember that as I spoke to them, after speaking, I would go and then clean toilets because I was trying to continue to bring income in. And perhaps that for me was one of the most the most probably low times in my life, because for me it was, wow, I'm over here speaking and empowering, encouraging people, and yet I'm over here on the side cleaning toilets. But that was preparing me, because you'll never forget that wherever you're positioned, and now I'm at a different place, right? I'm at a higher place. I'm at a better place financially and just relationally and everything else. But I love the people who clean. I love the people who take care of the building, because without those people, you can't function a facility. You can't function an organization, right? So it gives you perspective and it prepares you. Another thing that a dark place does, it gives you revelation. Now, this is an old-fashioned word. It's actually a more a religious word, if you will. But what I want you to take from this one is that sometimes our eyes are opened. We get a reveal, right? Or we get a revelation. Our eyes have been revealed what really life is about, or what God is doing, if you believe in God, right? What he's doing in these dark moments, and how he is showing you how strong you really are, and how tenacious you are, and how your attributes and your skills. You know, there's some abilities and some attributes and some talents that I would have never figured out if I would have never went through that moment. And so there's some things that were revealed to me in that dark place, some talent, some skills, some abilities, you know, the ability to ask people and get rejected. That's okay. See, I'm not afraid of rejection now. I'm really not. I'm not afraid for people to say no. Does it bother me still? Absolutely. But I'm not afraid of it. I'll still do it, because it has been revealed to me that, you know what, if you want something, you have to go after it. You have to go do it. If you want to succeed, you have to be willing to have some failures. And so something is being revealed to you. And if you would just understand that, then your eyes will be open to see it. Okay. The next thing it does is transforms you. Dark places really transforms you. It transforms you into the person that you were destined to be, that you were created to be, the leader that you're supposed to be at home, the leader that you're supposed to be at school, the leader that you're supposed to be in your job, to walk with your head held high, to walk in your power, in your authority, and command presence when you walk into a room. You see, it is in dark places that things are transformed. I want to remind you that it is in dark places that old-fashioned photography used to be developed. film used to be developed in a dark room, literally. And so in order to have a beautiful photo, you have to take it into the dark place. In order to have a beautiful butterfly, that beautiful butterfly or that caterpillar has to grow in a dark place. In order to have a baby, a beautiful baby, that baby develops in the womb of the mother in a dark place. A seed only begins to produce a harvest after it begins to germinate in a dark place. And so a dark place in your life could be transformative. It is a place of transformation. And then lastly, it is a place of transportation. You see, because after you get all these different things in your life, all these different skills, all these different abilities, and the ability to, like a famous person used to say, you take a beating and keep on, licking, or you take a beating and keep on licking. In other words, you let this, whatever adversity, whatever trial, you can either become a victim or you can rise up and say, you know what, this made me better, this made me tougher. This made me move beyond my comfort zone. And, think about the story of David Goggins in his book. I mean, such a powerful story of adversity, of challenge, of just going through pain, but yet that transported him into the man that he is today. And so I hope that those 5 things are able to give you some hope if you're going through a dark place today. Okay. Now, the dark place, again, is not a permanent place. It's a molding place. It's temporary. You don't have to lose hope. You don't have to give up. You don't have to surrender, but you can take that and build character. Let it build integrity. Let it build in you tenacity to pursue your purpose, to pursue your leadership, and to begin to lead your life in such a way that inspires others for greatness wherever you are and whatever age you are. I hope that this message today will encourage you. And I wonder what will happen if you will understand that this dark place is not a place to bury you, but it's a place to allow you, to give you the nutrients and everything necessary so that you can flourish into who you were created to be. So I hope that helps, guys. Listen, I want you right now to leave me a review. Please leave me, if you haven't already, if you've been listening to this podcast, it will mean the world to me if you go to Apple or wherever you listen, Spotify, wherever you're listening to your podcast, and I want you to leave me a review. If you're listening on YouTube, I want you to leave me a comment. I want you to hit that like button. Wherever you're listening, please leave me a review because it helps. It helps other people find the channel. It's not for my own ego. It's not because I need your applause. Literally, I don't. But it's so other people can find it. So the algorithms can push it up, because if not, that means that, basically they're saying, oh, people don't really listen. But so if you're listening, and there's many of you who've been listening for a while, please leave me a review. Please leave a comment. And again, September 27th is the release of the Lead Through Method. I hope you'll get it. And I hope that you will begin to lead in such a way that inspires others to lead as well. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day. Hey guys, if you broke your leg today, the first thing that you would do is go to the hospital to get it treated. I want to tell you that the same thing applies to your mental and relational health. If you need help with this, I highly recommend Sashi Rodriguez, professional counselor at healinggroundwc.com, healinggroundswc.com, and book your call today.